So why won't YouTubers just shut up about CDs in 2025? Myself included. I think a good percentage of the appeal is just the general nostalgia that everyone has. Everyone has these rose-colored memories for some particular moment in time, and typically there's a song that goes along with it. Who can't look at their collection and pin particular moments in their life to a certain song, or possibly even an entire album? That could be that fantastic summer with friends growing up, or even, the dark days that a particular song really touched on and possibly even helped you get through. For a lot of us, our library of music plays out like a story. Some of these are good stories, others not so much. You might be the only one who can see it, but that's exactly what makes this so special. Physical, tactile media, and a personal touch. I enjoy streaming, but I think some of this nostalgia is lost in the digital realm. We sort of lose the physical connection with the music, the artist, and even with ourselves sometimes. So basically, after saying all this, I can see why videos do so well on topics like forgotten CDs or everything you missed type of videos. Generally, people just want to look back and, think on these memories and everything that came along with it. Audiophile drama is everywhere. In all reality, it's really easy to stir up if you touch on the right topics. Just title a video 16-bit 44.1 audio, stomps high-res streaming, or this Walmart DVD player crushed my $1,000 transport. And all you have to do is sit back and wait for the comments. You're gonna have people losing their minds, and it can be great entertainment for everyone following along, but it can also become pretty exhausting. I try to stay away from the clickbait type videos, as it's generally just a bunch of opinions without basis, but I can't say I don't enjoy following along in the comment sections occasionally either. I'm as guilty as everyone else. Audiophiles tend to be very passionate about their sound and how it's delivered. It's one of the best parts about this space. But if you look outside of the audiophile community into other genres like the automotive world, it's a very similar feel. They have all the same discussions on performance, if it's hype or reality, country of origin, and even common YouTube topics like sponsorship bias. Drama simply drives engagement because it taps into our primal need for emotional experiences, conflicts, and even the occasional resolution. It seems like people are more wired to enjoy the struggles and adversity more than the triumphs. It's kind of weird like that, isn't it? Either way, the sky is blue, the water is still wet, audiophiles will continue to discuss their takes. And honestly, I'm good with it. Adding a little bit of spice never hurts. If you could, please send a like, comment, subscription this way. Even just drop down in the comment section and say hi, or let me know how nice my hair looks today. It's all good. On to the endless, is it actually coming back debate.
Yeah, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
It seems like some creators are trying to create some sort of influx here, proclaiming 1 week that CDs are officially back, and then 2 weeks down the road talking about how CDs are never going to return. It's sort of a toxic cycle that never actually requires any resolution. How convenient for them, right? The metrics behind CDs' comeback are a bit deceiving as well. While I don't have a lot of 2025 data yet, I do have a few interesting points. In 2023, the decline in CD sales slowed to 6.9%, which was actually the lowest annual rate of decline since 2015. While US vinyl sales have still continued to outpace CDs, it's much closer than I imagined. The ratio is nearly 1-to-1, it's coming in right around 1.04 to 1, down from 1.42 to 1 in 2023. And if we go beyond the US into the UK, for example, CDs outsold vinyl by 3.8 million units in 2024. So we're possibly reaching a pivot point here in 2025. While these numbers look like they're rapidly trending in the direction of CDs, we may need to wait this out to see how this, all plays out. Single anomalies like the newest Taylor Swift album, that generated 2.5 million CD sales in the first half of 2024. So it's likely we need to keep an eye on this one over a longer length of time to really get a clear picture. I don't doubt that we continue to see growth in the CD front though, well, until one of two things happen. Vinyl becomes cheaper, basically more in line with the pricing we saw 5 years ago, where it was more like $15 to $25 for an album, compared to now what we're seeing, where a lot of times it's somehow $30 to $40. Or, which this one may not please people, but as CD popularity increases, the prices may follow along with it. I'm sure there's some people in suits keeping a close eye on all of this because we know they're not going to let us get a deal on any of this. In some ways, the price increases on CDs have already started, depending on where you live and where you're shopping. I lost a lot of my collection when it was stolen from my car many, many years ago back during college. And since then, I've basically rebought everything and, well, much more. I used to go on eBay and pick up really cheap lots of CDs where the prices were so good that it didn't bother me if some of the albums were of no interest. You could just search out something like 90s alternative CD lot and you'd get a pile of great media. The cases wouldn't always show up in the best condition, but they were cheap. And I would just take the cases from the albums that I didn't want or the duplicates, and I would just repair the good ones that I actually wanted. It's not really like that anymore. The bids and prices are a lot more competitive, and a lot of what many would call the good albums no longer show up in the lots. They're sold individually for more money. Not to say that you can't still get good deals, it's just not as simple as it was even 5 years ago. All that being said, you can still typically buy 2 to even 4 CDs for the price of a single vinyl album. Just for fun, since it's been a while, I bounced over to eBay and searched just that, 90s alternative CD lot. The first one that popped up was 40 CDs for $100 plus $10 shipping. That's really not bad. There's still hope for all of us. Another reason we're still talking CDs is that companies are starting to make interesting CD players and CD transports again. Heck, we even have a comeback in portable CD players, which I really didn't see coming. I recently reviewed the FIO DM13, which I honestly had a lot more fun with that product than I expected, and it seemed like the audience was truly interested as well. It had all the features that we used to look for on these, plus a few extras like a digital out, so you could use this at your desk and go into a DAC of your choosing. It's actually a pretty versatile little unit. They aren't the only ones either. Since that review, I had a couple other companies reach out to me with some other portables that may even bring something new to the market, which sounds weird in itself. New and CD, so stay tuned for that one. I don't have it in my hands yet, but it might be worth sticking around for in a later video. Beyond that, CD transports are plentiful right now. You can pretty much shop any price point from around $100 up into, several thousands. I recently covered an SMSL here that was a pretty interesting take on the transport. It's actually a really well-built unit with some quirks that keep you on your toes. I won't get into the sound quality on that one, for all the different delivery devices, as it's generally a lot more complicated than saying they all sound the same. Does it have the same DAC? What connections does it offer? What features does it have? You get the idea. I've even put out a video on an old Blu-ray player, then a 7-inch Amazon screen through the HDMI. Basically what I'm saying here is there's plenty of equipment you can get into that'll get you back into CDs at all different kinds of price points. And I wouldn't doubt we see some new ones enter the market here in 2025 with, this current surge in popularity. Finally, we're gonna wrap this one up on a final point on why CDs just won't give up. Picture this, you're at a thrift store or a mom and pop music shop, digging through all the secondhand CDs, and you happen to scroll through a band that you haven't listened to in ages. Maybe they were never radio famous, maybe they never made it big, but you listened to that album 100 times 30 years ago, and here it is for $2. That's a huge win in my opinion, even if you only listen to it one more time and then just add it into the collection with the rest. It's sort of like a gamble here. It's not like streaming audio where we know exactly what is coming most of the time because it's either, it's our selection, or an algorithm that says this is what you like. The music streaming big brother that controls our selections can and does do a fantastic job most of the time. It feeds me what I generally like. It offers up new suggestions based on what I've recently listened to. But what it can't do is assess how you're feeling, which is obviously one of the biggest drivers as to what you're actually gonna listen to in that moment. I'm not saying to drop streaming, not by a long shot. I use it all the time, and some of the advancements are welcomed in many different ways. I mean, some of the equipment that has come out in the last couple of years has been truly fantastic, budget and premium. What I am asking is to step away from it, here and there, to get back to your roots. Listen to an entire album. Don't sit there and doom scroll for the next greatest hit. I can almost guarantee there's a track on every album that didn't make the cut to be the one pushed out to the masses, but maybe it's the one to connect with you personally. So am I gonna buy more CDs in 2025? Yes. Am I still gonna buy vinyl? Yes to that one too, but maybe with an asterisk of when I find good deals, which if you keep an eye out, it's not that hard to find albums around that, $15 to $20 mark. But I get it, it's still not what many would call cheap, and it's certainly not as cheap as, paying $1 to $5 for a CD. Will I continue to stream likely more than any of the other mediums? Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that either. I'm not here to say that streaming's out in 25. If anything, the space is hopefully gonna get better and better. I'm just happy to see the physical media is gonna live on, which in my opinion, looks like we have nothing to worry about, no matter what the next YouTuber says. If you guys, gals wanna keep this CD train rolling, I recently did a couple videos on CD playback, the SMSL PL200T, which is a transport, and the FIO DM13, which is a portable. Check them out if you're interested in some of the new releases in this area. And if you could, please send a like, comment, and subscription this way so I can keep bringing new content to the community. Take care, talk soon, later.